Welcome. It's another day, Bhagavad Gita study that hopefully helps your life overall and day to day. We're in chapter 6. Today is a special day here in Cleveland, special day around the United States of America in many ways. So if you're a baseball fan, you probably know this number. If not, no worries. Today we're ending our exploration of chapter 6, verse 7, and the final line about being the same in honor or shame. And we talked about how to apply the Gita when it comes to ourselves, but also significantly how to apply it to others, because according to so much spiritual literature, not just the Gita, everyone you see is a reflection of what's inside you. How you treat others is how you treat yourself, and vice versa. So if you're not familiar with the number 14 or the number 42 when it comes to baseball, these are said to be the numbers of the first baseball players to break the color barrier. 42, Jackie Robinson. Number 14, first in the American League, played for Cleveland, Larry Doby. It's Larry Doby Day at the stadium. July 5th marks the first day that he appeared on the baseball field at the professional level. And I'm mentioning this with honor and shame because it's a really good way to start looking at how we do treat people when we think they're shameful or when we think that they're great, which changes. It changes over time. It changes from decade to decade, even century to century. We look back at some who were deemed heroes and go, how did people consider them heroes because of their behavior? Or vice versa. Oh, people thought that they were not good people, but when we dig further into their history, we realize what was really going on. This can also change from day to day and hour to hour. So for example, the Black or African American players in the earlier days of American baseball, they'd be out playing on the field for their professional team, and the fans would cheer them, right? Like, yay, great. However, off the field, they were treated with great dishonor. Reggie Jackson posted a video recently. He's another famous Black African American player, if you don't know who he is. And he was talking about how, when he played for the Yankees, America's team, right? And he and his team would go to eat after games or to travel and stay at hotels on the road to other games, how his teammates who were white would be welcomed in the establishment, but then the establishment owners would say, but not that guy, not that N-word. He cannot come in. And he said he was lucky because his managers and his fellow players then said, well, the heck with you. And they went on to an establishment until they found one that would accept everyone. So it just goes to show how even in the same day, somebody can be acclaimed as a hero and then you're nobody. And there's been research I was reading in Psychology Today recently that shows that being shunned activates the same part of the brain that produces physical pain. So all this pain we cause others and ourselves because if there's something we can't accept in others, of course, that means there's something we see as dishonorable within us. And actually this shame, this dishonoring even carries over in Toledo, Ohio, which is about 120 miles west of here. There's actually a claim that Jackie Robinson was not the first Black or African American player in the major leagues, that there was another one, Moses Fleetwood Walker, who played, but because he was Black, kind of the record, nobody kept the history about him and buried it. And so he's not even acknowledged for his contributions. It said that he played up in the majors for one season, but then the racism was so bad went right back down to the minors for the rest of his career. So how do we know for ourselves that we're treating others in a way that's best? Because if these labels of honor and dishonor change so quickly, even hour to hour in a day, how do we know how to treat people? And the answer can be found in Samatvam, equanimity. How do you know people should be treated? You can get that from looking at spiritual leaders and how they treat others. For example, Jesus, the Christ, and many other spiritual leaders have made a point of extending dignity to people who are impoverished, right? Which many of us don't do. So how do the spiritual leaders treat others? How do you know in your heart of hearts to treat others? You know. You know. So I will chant this verse one final time. We'll move on to something else tomorrow. Then we'll have our practice. The true self of the self-controlled stays balanced in the cold and heat, in pleasure and in suffering, in honor and in shame alike. Great. So I'm going to go do my physical practice here with you, then the meditative practice. It's fascinating. Physical practice for a yoga teacher. You can be acclaimed as a great spiritual yoga teacher, but have a surgery, have an accident, and your body changes shape to where people think you don't look like a yoga teacher, and watch the shame come. It's fascinating, and you have to learn how to get beyond that. So I'm going to honor my body. If you see me modifying or adjusting, I hope that encourages you to be the same way with yourself. You're Larry. Whoops. And switch. All right. Contemplation today, I invite you to think about a group of people that you think may be shameful and or a shameful part of yourself, some part of yourself you're ashamed of. And how do you treat others or yourself when you see that? Should be an interesting 5 minutes. Let's find out. Welcome back. I hope that was a useful contemplation for you. Happy Larry Doby Day, and to Larry, Moses, Jackie, Reggie, and so many others. May this be a day of honor. And for those of you watching, there are many ways you can feel about yourself. May you choose honorable instead of shameful. Until we see each other again.